supplements in space.
The question mark in the title is there because I want to leave some wiggle room in case I keep growing. While I feel like it's time to do the wrap-up/results video, I'm also not completely sure that I'm done. So, if more growth occurs, I'll update. But at this moment, I feel I have enough data to show a result. So, here it is. The images you are about to see are pretty average. View with an open mind. I'm no genetic great or even a serious amateur bodybuilder. So, without further ado, did it work? Throughout the growth phase of this experiment, I felt the telltale signs of rapid muscle growth. If you've ever done a very successful cycle or had a big growth spurt when you first began training, then you know what I'm talking about. You aren't just sore after workout, but you can feel an exceptional tightness. This is your expanding muscle pushing against the casing that surrounds it, the fascia. You find yourself needing extra sleep, like, take a nap now, and then when you wake up, you look leaner and tighter. This is because extra energy is being diverted to growing muscle and likely new neural pathways both in the brain and to the muscle. Like I say, if you've experienced it, you know. The basics of the experiment are a couple of weeks of ketosis to get ready to fast, a 12-day dirty fast to prep the stem cells, a recovery period post-fast to fill back out, and then a growth blast for 12 to 21 days. This is the same basic schedule I use when relying on slow-release oxytocin to produce myogenic growth. I take the oxytocin in decent high doses only during the growth phase to mature the prepped stem cells. The purpose of this experiment was to see if a combination of natural substances via subcutaneous injection could produce the same myogenic growth as a round of slow-release oxytocin or AAS under the same conditions. I weighed myself throughout and took video at certain points to show the progression. Typically, I experience good fat loss during the fast, and I usually gain about 10 pounds of good bulk during the growth phase using oxytocin. My estimation is that about 2 to 3 pounds of this is typically lean tissue, with the rest in glycogen, mineral retention, and of course water and a little fat. In the vid on the left, I weighed 224.5 pounds in light sweats at the gym before the first keto phase, okay? By the end of that phase and before fasting, I still weighed the same. I had weighed this same amount for months by the time I started fasting. During the fast, I got down to a 205-pound morning weight, 20 pounds, 207 in this video. After returning to eating, note, I attempted keto but ended up having low carbs during this phase, 100 to 150 grams per day and normal maintenance calories. But my body weight settled after returning to eating at 212 pounds after just a couple days. It got there from just introducing normal food back in, and it stayed there for 2 weeks while I rode out the deep quiescent post-fast phase where you cannot grow no matter what you eat. When the scale started to budge a little bit, I knew that the deep quiescent phase was over, and I began to push for the growth phase, introducing the various substances. There were a couple of hiccups during the growth phase where I had to take a couple days off, but overall, as you can see from the vids and the dates, the growth phase was about 2.5 to 3 weeks, but spread out over a 3 to 4 week period, start to finish. And like I say, I may not be done yet, but I felt this was a good time to call it. Yeah, in my humble and not so objective opinion, it worked. While the vid on the far right may be a little washed out looking, making me look not as lean as the darker vid where I weighed 212, note the small veins in the lower part of my side delt showing in the 222 vid. Also, I had no pump in the 222 vid, just decided to get some evidence while I was thinking about it. The 212 vid, I may have had a slight pump post-workout or something during that day, I don't know, and the lighting is a little different. But with my cheap phone and camera, I couldn't really get it perfect, so use your own judgment. But I'll say this, I sure as heck didn't put on 10 pounds of fat from the 212 vid to the 222 vid. And look at the before and after from the very beginning to the end. From 224 to 222, overall I lost about 3 pounds and I look bigger, fuller, and leaner than I did when I started. Looking at the videos, you may see that a lot of the benefit took place before even starting the growth blast. This is from the fasting. Everyone thinks you're going to lose a ton of muscle when you fast, but here's why I didn't. 1, I'm on generous TRT, currently 225 milligrams per week microdose daily. It isn't the be-all and end-all, but it definitely helps. You can fast and not lose muscle without TRT, but it's a nice safety net to avoid excessive catabolism, I won't lie. 2, I got fat adapted before fasting. Keto, good deep keto. Get the body adapted to burning fat versus glycogen, and the body will pull from fat stores while fasting versus glycogen stores, which is your muscles are, right? And when you run out of glycogen in the muscles, it'll start to break down muscle to make glycogen. So get into ketosis. Tell your body this is how we work. Look at the difference between the first vid and the post-fasting vid at 212 pounds. 225-ish to 212, and to my eye, it looks like I only lost 12 pounds of fat and water and kept all the muscle. But to go up another 10 pounds after already looking leaner and fuller, even better. For this growth phase, I took the following subcutaneously: ecdystrone/plantsterones 40 to 150 milligrams a day, depending on where I was at. Genistein, about 35 milligrams a day. DHEA, 35 milligrams a day. Those were all mixed in with the plantsterones. Epicatechin, 8 milligrams a day. Sometimes injected, sometimes sublingual. Lemon myrtle, not sure about the milligrams. I don't have a conclusive number, and I wasn't super consistent with it, honestly. I took the following sublingually or orally: vitamin D3, K2, and NAD+, sublingual. Generous creatine and TMG, though I fell a little short on the creatine. Some extra protein where I could. High calories, high carbs, 4,000 calories a day thereabouts, and about 400 to 500 grams of carbs, honestly. Carbs are key. Check out the study to see. Some of the hiccups were because I was fiddling with the formula of my main substance, sub-Q ecdystrone genistein DHEA combo. I finally got the formula user-friendly, i.e. relatively painless, at about the midpoint of the experiment. I stumbled on the perfect ratio of benzyl alcohol and glycerin to pull out the excessive plant fiber and make filtration a snap. Holy heck, is it much better. So, overall, it's been a good learning experience, and to keep that experiment going, I had to figure out the sub-Q ecdy. So, that was good motivation. I can't honestly tell if I'm 100% still growing or not, so I'm going to give it 5 or 6 more days, and if the scale stays put, then I'll know I'm done. I've matured all the prepped stem cells I have. Then I'll likely take a few days to use some slow release oxytocin just to be sure. Then after that, I'll repeat the same process again, but moving forward I have no issue using some peptides and other substances such as the oxytocin, as I feel I've made my point about the natural products. I will continue to use all of these natural items from the experiment in some form or another on my next growth phase, but likely alternating the sub-Q ecdy mix with the oxytocin every other day to get the best of both worlds. The release from the injection site on both of them is so slow that it'll be in the system at the same time, and frankly, I'm curious. As usual, I hope some of this vid made sense and there's something interesting or useful you can glean from it. No Patreon vid this week, but several free vids up there now showing how I make this and that, and little behind the scenes stuff on complexing, etc. Check that out if you're interested. Hit like if you like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you back here next week.